Greetings. Welcome to Kamado Cooking 101 presented by Man Cave Meals. Today we're going to look at the very basic first step of learning to cook on a Kamado, and that's how to load the charcoal in the firebox, how to start the fire, and how to get your temperature where you want it. So let's get started. We're going to start out with an empty firebox, and I have hand-picked several large pieces of lump from a new bag of charcoal that I'm going to kind of stack right on the fire grate. And the reason I'm doing this is we want the larger pieces of lump on the bottom to help keep the smaller pieces of lump from blocking up the air holes and obstructing the airflow in the Kamado. So now that we have that done, we can put regular whatever lump we want in there. So we'll do that next. I have a good bit of lump left over from a previous cook that I took out of this smoker, so we're just going to dump it right in. Not going to use all of it. That should be more than enough. So like I said before, there's no waste of lump charcoal. You're always going to use it all. So now we'll prepare it to light it up. Now that we have all our charcoal in place, I'm going to make a little well right in the middle, and I'm going to put my my fire starter right in there, and then we're going to take a lighter and light it up. And we're going to let that burn for a minute or so until it catches up good. And we're also going to have the bottom and top vents wide open during this process. So I'm going to open the bottom vent fully, and when I close the lid, we'll open the top vent. So we're going to let this burn for a moment, and then we'll be right back. Okay, now that my starter cube's burning nicely, we're going to rearrange a little bit of the charcoal and put a few pieces right over the fire, so we make sure we get several pieces of that lit up. And today my target temperature is going to be 275 degrees. I'm going to smoke some almonds, so we don't want a big fire. So what we're going to do now is let that burn for another minute or so, and then we'll be right back. Okay, now that that's starting to burn fairly well, if you're using any accessories, you want to go ahead and put them in. So I'm going to be using my diffuser. So we're going to put that in, and then we're going to set the grill right on top, and then we will close the lid and leave the vents fully open, and we're going to watch our thermometer. And since we want to stop it at 275 degrees, we're going to start shutting down the air vents at about 175. As you can see here, the bottom vent is fully open and the top vent is fully open also. So we're gonna watch the thermometer, and when we get up to about 175 or so, we're gonna start closing the vents up to slow the growth of the fire. So we'll be back when we're ready to do that. Okay, our Kamado is up to about 170, so what we're gonna do now is start choking down the airflow so we can slow down the growth of the fire. We're going to go to the top vent, which is fully open, and we're going to close it to about right there. And then we're going to go to the bottom vent and close it to what amounts to roughly 50%. I'm going to close my screen. If yours doesn't have a screen like that, you just want to close it to about something like that. And keep your eye on the thermometer, because we're going to have to close it down even more. So we'll come back here shortly and look at our next setting about the time we start to get up around 225. Okay, we're up to about 220 or so, so we want to go to the top vent, and on mine I'm going to close the big part up and leave the daisy wheel piece completely open for this next stage. And then we are going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to close the cover over the screen till we have that about 25% open. I know everybody's vents are different, but the theory's all the same. We want to shut down the airflow to keep the fire from growing out of control. So since we're shooting for 275 here, I will probably leave that vent right where it is. I won't adjust it anymore, and I'll make my final adjustments up here at the top vent. So when we get up to about 250, we'll be back to have another quick look. Okay, I've switched over to digital temperature control here so I can get a really accurate temperature right at the grate. We're at 250 degrees at the grate, and the temperature's still coming up slowly. So what we're going to do now is go back to the top vent and close it down just a little bit to even further restrict the airflow. So right about there should, based on my experience, get us real close to where we want to be. We'll watch it and let the temp continue to come up, and we may have to tweak this vent here just a little bit, open or closed. We'll see what happens, so we'll be back. Okay, we're kind of stalled here at about 253. After just a little bit of that last vent adjustment, the temperature hasn't moved, so that means that we need to open up our top vent just a little bit more. So I'm going to move it about like that, and we'll watch it for a few more minutes and see if the temperature comes up a little for us so we can get it where we want it. Okay, we're fairly stable here at 270 degrees. I haven't had to make any more vent adjustments, and the temperature's not moving. I've still got the top vent right where we left it, and the bottom vent is also right where we left it. It may require some additional minor adjustments here and there to make it stay where we want it, especially after we open the lid. So that's how you start a Kamado up and bring it to the temperature you want. It takes a little practice, a little time, a little patience, but after you've done this a few times, it gets real easy. And it doesn't take that long. This process took, to park this guy at 270 to 275 and have it stable there, took about 35 or 40 minutes. You can do this a little more quickly after you get the hang of it. You got to know where the point is where you want to start closing your vents down. But that's how it's done, and that will wrap up this instructional video on how to start your Kamado.